You arranged the weather too, huh? By the way, did you watch the game?
Absolutely.
Hell of a game, wasn't it?
It was great. It was great.
You know, I played football in high school and was pretty good. And I used to call it a game of inches. I never believed it was last night.
Yes, sir.
That was all inches.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you, sir?
What's your name?
Devin Archie.
Devin, good to see you, pal.
You too.
How you doing, Mr. President?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
What's your name?
Brian Russell.
Good to see you, Brian. Hey, man.
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
You still play.
Good morning, Mr. President.
How are you? What's your name?
Edna Foster.
Good to see you, Edna.
How you doing, Mr. President?
How are you, pal? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good morning, Mr. President.
How are you?
Very good. Very good.
Mr. President.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Well, I got about $60 million for you, that's all.
For me personally.
So is that an early birthday gift, Mr. President?
Good to see you. Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you.
How are you, man? Good to see you, Rob.
Mr. President, how are you,
How
sir?
are you, man? Good to
Thanks
see
for
you.
everything. Thank you, sir. Hey, Mr. President.
How
Dan
are you?
Osowski. Thank you, sir.
Hey, Danny, good to see you, pal.
Good afternoon, Mr. President.
How are you?
Robert S. Hoyne.
Good to see you, Robert.
Thank you for coming.
President.
Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you.
I've been coming to this yard for a long, long time.
Yes, sir. Thanks for all your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, you guys are to blame for my being in the Senate as long as I was, because were it not for Amtrak, I wouldn't have been in the Senate. You know, they were talking about, when I was vice president, they did an article about Biden had traveled, well, I think it was 1,200,000 miles on aircraft. You know, they list how many miles you travel all the time. And so I'm getting on the train, and Secret Service are great guys, but they understandably would rather me not ride trains because more things can happen on a train in the distance instead of flying home. But I had to come home, see my mom. She was living with me, she was dying. Anyway, so I go to get in the train on a Friday afternoon, and a guy named Andrew, I guess I shouldn't say his whole name, but he used to be number 2 on the road. And he walked up, he goes, "Joey, baby," he grabs my cheek. And I thought they were going to shoot him. And I said, "What's the story, Angie?" He said, "I just read 1,200,000 miles, big deal." He said, "You know how many miles you travel on Amtrak?" And I said, "No, Angie." He said, "We did retirement dinner up in Newark." Said the guys, because most of my team was coming out of New York, you know, and that back and forth. And he said, "You know," he said, "You travel over 1,250,000 miles or 300,000 miles. How'd you figure that, Angie?" He said, "Well, it's about, I forget the exact number, but I think it's 280 miles round trip." And he said the Senate's within an average of 117 days a year. You did it for 36 years, almost every day. And then you did as vice president. He said, "So that's how we figured it out."